ever heard of an average before? You ever heard of the word average? What do you know about average?
Average is like the number that comes, that's, out of all the numbers, that's the one that's the main number, like the main level.
Okay. He says the main number. Anybody else? Okay. An average is found when you have a set of numbers and you add those numbers up, then divide them by how many numbers that you have. That is the first topic that we have is mean. Mean means average. Okay? If you have a set of numbers like 20, 30, and 50, right? 50 plus 20 is 70, plus 30 is 100.
Then you divide that by 3.
And you would divide that by 3, and what would you get?
1 second, sir.
Excuse me?
1 second. You would get 33.3.
33 point, or repeating decimal. 0.3 repeating. This would be your average.
Why would you divide it by 3? Because there's three numbers?
Because it's 3 numbers. You divide it by however many numbers you have. You have 1, 2, 3 numbers. So you divide your total amount by how many numbers that you have.
Oh, okay.
If you guys think about it, when you were in school, you got graded off of averages. So let's say Chantel's in math class, and she got an 80 on her first test, a 90 on the second test. She fell asleep in class, so she got a 75 on the third test, an 85 on her fourth test. 1, 2, 3, 4. And she just took 4 tests for the class. What would be her average for that class?
Can I work on the calculator?
Go ahead, work on the calculator.
So you divide 330 by 4?
You said you got 330?
Yeah.
Okay. So that total amount is going to be 330, and then you divide it by how many numbers you have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right?
Mm-hmm. And that'll give you 82.5.
So her average, if they were to round it up to the nearest whole number, would be what?
That'll be 83.
Good job. 83. Does everybody understand how I got that? Does everybody understand average?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since we all understand it, we're all going to do one. Hunter, you were playing basketball. You just got drafted by the Thunder. Okay? Your first game of the season, you scored 28 points. Your second game, your shot was off. You scored 5 points. Your third game, you scored 35 points. How many points did you average for those 3 games?
22 points. Repeating, what do you call it?
Repeating decimal?
And then it has a 7 at the end, though.
Repeating decimal, what, 6?
And then,
To the nearest whole number. Rounding. You tell me.
oh, okay,
To the nearest whole number. What would it be?
23.
23. Good job. Hunter averaged around 23 points a game. Not bad, Hunter.
I'm not thinking.
If only that were true.
Okay. Chantel, you went, so Lorna.
My name is Compton.
Lorna. Lorna, you went to go see a movie this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You went with your mom and your sister. When you guys talk amongst each other, you have a way of rating movies on a scale from 0 to 5. Your mom gave it a 2. You know you gave it a 5. And your sister, she said it was so-so, she gave it a 3. What is the average score that you guys gave that movie? A 0.3?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what you did. What did you do?
I divided.
You divided? No.
I added first.
Okay. You're saying words, but you're not putting numbers with these words. It, who's it? You divided it, who's it?
2 plus 5 plus 3.
You divided 2 plus 5 plus?
Added.
You added 2 plus 5 plus 3, and what'd you get?
10.
10? And then what'd you do after that?
Also, I did wrong.
What'd you do wrong? We're interested in what you did wrong. What'd you do wrong?
I divided 3 into 10.
You divided 3 into 10. This is a mistake you can't make when you're doing your averages. Don't divide the number of numbers that we gave you by your total amount. You divide your total amount by the numbers that you're given. So don't get those two mixed up, okay? And what'd you get this time, Lorna?
3 repeated.
3 repeated to the nearest whole number?
It's just 3.
3. Good job, Lorna. So we all know what mean means, right? Good job. And we talked about mean. Lorna, what's the mean?
Average.
The average. Now, on the test, they're not going to make it this easy. Okay? I can show you the skills, but you're really going to have to work towards understanding how we solve these word problems on the test. On the test, when they give you a question about mean, about average, what they're going to do is, more than likely, they're going to give you a list of numbers. And they're going to ask you what's required in order to get a certain average. They do this all over the test, not just with mean. They do it in geometry. If they're asking you an area question, they don't just want to know the area. They might give you the area and ask for the width. Okay, it's the same concept. So we're going to take 2 examples. We're going to take a school question, and we're going to take a sports question. Okay, so Chantel, you're in a class where you've made an 80% on one test, a 90% on another test, 85 on one test, and a 95 on another test. Let's throw in one more score. Let's throw in you really didn't study that night and you made a 70. Okay? Now, on the test, type of question that they might ask you is they may say, what score is needed for Chantel to get an A in the class? And if the A is established that it's a 90 or above, how will we solve this? She needs a 90% in the class. How will we go about solving this? You guys think about it for a second. Any ideas? Okay, Lorna, what do you suggest we do?
Well, we're going to step in the equation.
Say again?
Equation.
An equation, okay. Yes, we're definitely going to have to write an equation. What is this equation going to consist of? We have the numbers that we're dealing with. So when you're doing a word problem, the very first thing that you want to do is write down the information that's given to you and establish what's needed and what's not needed. Is there any number that I have on the board that I don't need? No, I need all these numbers. So now it's just placing them in an equation in proper order. Okay? We know that mean means that it's the sum of the numbers divided by how many numbers are involved. So we know if we have 2 numbers such as 20 and 30, and we want to find the average, what we do is we add 20 plus 30, right? And we get 50. And then we divide by how many numbers we have. We have 1, 2. 2 numbers, so we divide it by 2. And 50 divided by 2 is what?
It'll be 25.
25. So the average of the numbers 20 and 30 is 25. We have to take the same concept, this right here, and we have to apply it to what we're doing here. We have to plug these numbers in and set these numbers up in an equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 80, we're going to add it plus 90, we're going to add it plus 85, plus 95, plus 70, and do I need another number up here? Lorna, yes.
You need an X.
I need an X. What does my x symbolize?
The unknown.
The unknown. It's the unknown number. Usually when they ask you a question in a word problem, that's what we're going to use x for. Our question is, what score are we going to need in order to achieve a 90? That's x, the unknown value. It's our job to find out what x is. Now, we know when we're finding out an average, we're dividing, right? So, if we're dividing, what do you think I'm going to be dividing by?
6.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is correct. And once I divide by 6, what should I end up with? Once I add all these numbers and then divide by 6, what should be my answer?
70.
Should it be 70?
No.
Let's think about the problem. Our problem has an objective.
Well, what
What's
is
our,
that?
what's our objective? What's our objective?
To figure out x.
To figure out x, but our objective, our true objective is to end up with the average of what?
Average.
Of 90. So all these numbers when divided by 6 should equal 90. Understood?
Yeah.
Because that's our objective. Our objective is to end up with the A in the class, and the A is a 90. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's add all these numbers up. Anybody get anything?
Got 420.
You got 420?
I got the same thing.
You got 420? Everybody get 420? 420 is right. So what we do is, we add all these numbers up, and we go ahead and put 420 down here. Now, this is the top part of my division problem. What else do I need to bring down?
The x.
Plus
Now,
x.
Now, do I put 420x?
No, you put plus
Why?
x.
Why don't I put 420x?
Because you're not multiplying your
Because I'm not multiplying, and that's what this symbolizes. It's 420 times x. That's not what I'm doing. I'm 420 what?
Plus x.
Plus x. I'm adding it plus x. And I'm dividing it by what?
6.
6. Okay? And it's still going to equal 90. Now, although this is a mean question, this is an algebra problem. And this is what your test is about. They're not going to test you on any one concept for any one question. You're going to be tested on multiple concepts for a single question. Using your average knowledge, your mean knowledge, and mixing it up with the algebra equation. So now, I have 420 plus x divided by 6. Now, my objective in algebra is to always get my letter by itself. Who's in the way of me getting x by itself?
The 6 and the 90.
The 6, the 90, the 90?
Well, not the 90, but the
But it's important you said that. The 90 is not in my way because it's on the opposite side of the equation. It's on, the 90 is, let's say the equal sign is a railroad track. The 90 is on the other side of the railroad track. I'm never worried about what's on the other side of the railroad track being in my way. What I worry about this is if I make any changes on this side, I have to make it on this side. So who's in my way?
6.
6. Now, question is, how do I get rid of 6?
Multiply by itself.
Okay, when I multiply it by itself, I'm multiplying it by 6. Let's say I'm multiplying it by 6, and I'm going to say 6 over 1. Because it's important that you put that because sometimes you're dealing with fractions, and you want to make sure that you put 6 over 1 so that you understand it. 6 over 1 is a fraction that has the same value as the whole number 6. Okay? Now, why am I using 6 to multiply this? What's my purpose of doing that?
Because you're getting the opposite. You have to do the opposite.
I got to do the opposite, so that's why I'm multiplying. But why am I using 6?
Because 6 is at the bottom.
Because 6
You're
is
trying
at
to
the
cancel out.
I got to cancel out. When I'm multiplying or dividing in algebra, I want whatever is around x to equal 1. Make sense? Perfect example. If I say 2x equals 10, right? Who's in the way of x?
2.
2. I want 2 to equal 1, so I divide by 2. Here's my rule in algebra. Whatever I do on one side, I got to do to the other side. So I got to divide this 10 by 2, and I get x equals 5. Does that make sense? Take the same concept and we do it over here. I take this 6, it cancels out with this one, so that makes it 1. Whatever I do on one side, I got to do to the other side. So now I got to multiply this 90 times 6. And what is 90 times 6?
540.
540. Did everybody get 540?
Yeah.
So I go ahead and put 540. These 6's have canceled out. So now I can just bring down this 420. 420 plus x equals 540. Now, algebraically, what do I need to do now? Chantel.
You turn the 420 into a negative 4.
Into a negative. Because when I'm adding and subtracting in algebra, I want whatever's around my x to equal 0.
Cross that out and do the same to the 520.
Whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side.
And that'll be x equals 100.
X equals 120. So she's going to need some extra credit, right? She's going to need some bonus points in order to get an A in this class. Did that make sense to everybody? Okay. The second example I want to use is a sports example. Who's the best player in the National Basketball Association? Any ideas? Who do you guys feel? Who's your favorite? Travis, who's your favorite? If the season ended right now, who would be the MVP? Okay. Last year, who most impressed you in the playoffs?
Leonard.
Leonard?
Yeah.
For the Spurs?
Yeah.
Kwame Leonard. Say Kwame Leonard hit for 35 points his first game. He hit for 40 points his second game. And he hit for 30 points his third game. Let's say his fourth game he hit for 25 points. Okay? Now, by the time he gets to the fifth game, or let's say by the time he gets to the sixth game, he wants to be averaging 30 points a game. How much is he going to need to score in the fifth game in order to average 30 points per game? Okay, let's start. I have these numbers and I have this, which he wishes to average 30 points a game. Am I missing anything on my top line? I'm not.
Oh, you're at x.
My x, my unknown. How much he's going to have to hit in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th game. So I can go ahead and say x. What operation am I going to be using on my top line? Lauren?
Top line addition.
Addition. So I'm going to add 35 plus 40 plus 30 plus 25. Am I done?
No.
What am I missing?
Your x.
My x.
Plus x.
Plus x. And what am I going to divide by?
5.
5.
6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5. I'm going to divide by 5. Only reason I'm going to divide by 5, Ms. Deborah, is because I have 5 numbers. X is included in my numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I divide by 5, and what should I end up with? What should my average be?
30.
30. That's my objective. So, who's in the way of me getting to x?
5.
5. How do I get rid of 5?
Multiply it by itself.
Multiply it by 5. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. Yes?
Do we have to add all those up?
Yes, I'm going to add all those up.
Didn't we already add them up?
No, we haven't added them up yet. But what's really important is that once you get down to this line, that you have your sum of these numbers. Now, if you want to go ahead and cancel this out before you put your sum, it's going to be irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your problem.
It doesn't matter?
No.
Okay.
As long as when you come down here, you have your sum. So these cancel out. Now, I have to combine like terms on my top line. When I add all those numbers up, what do I get?
130.
Anybody else? Do I get 130?
Yes.
130.
130.
So now I have 130 plus what?
X.
X, my unknown number, equals
130. 180.
130, 180?
Oh, wait.
What's 30 times 5? You guys want to look at that again?
150.
Oh, one.
Okay. I'm still waking up. 150. Okay? Now what do?
Subtract.
What do I subtract?
130.
130. I want whatever's next to my x to equal 0. That cancels out. My x comes down. 150 minus 130 is what?
20.
20. So all he needs in order to average 30 points a game is 20 points in his last game. Does everybody get that?
Mm-hmm.
Just understand, when we talk about certain concepts that you see on the GED, rarely, if ever, are you going to just be questioned on that single concept. They're going to test multiple skills on one problem. So you got to not only know how to do each individual skills, you got to know how to combine them and when to combine them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Averages word problems on the GED. The median. When you think of median, think of the middle. Think about driving, think about the middle. The median is the middle number, okay?
I thought the median was the thing that separated the highways, that concrete thing.
That's a median too.
Alright, just make sure.
The median is the middle number. That's what's important. Don't focus on the highway thing. Focus on understanding that when you get this on the test, the median is the middle number. Okay, when you find the median, the first thing that you want to do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, so if they're not in order, put them in order. How would I put these numbers in order?
The 30 goes first.
The 30 will go first,
The 45 will go second.
45 will go next,
And 80 will go last.
80 will go last. Now once I put those numbers in order, which one is in the middle?
45.
45 is my median.
Oh, that was easy.
That's easy, right? Here's the one loop that they can throw you in the median problem.
That's not. No.
How would I rewrite that? Is that in order?
20.
Okay, how would I write that?
20.
We'll go first 20, and then what?
30.
30, then 45,
And 80.
then 80. What's the median now?
30 and 45, but what you have to do is
Hold on, Laura. Chantel?
40?
Okay.
Probably not.
Hunter? What's the middle number now?
I don't know.
Okay, now tell them, Laura. Explain to them.
well, 30 and 45 is the middle number, is the median actually. So what you have to do is you add your 30 and 45 and then divide it by 2.
When I have
I was right.
When I have two numbers like this, and how I know, this is a key indicator that I know it's the middle number. You know it's the middle number when you have the same amount of numbers on both sides. I have one number on this side, and I have one number on this side. This is how you know that these two numbers would qualify to be your middle number. But when we have two numbers like that, we have to find the average of these two numbers. So average means I do what, Chantel?
Average?
Mm-hmm.
You add them,
I add them, and then I do what?
divide them.
Divide them. Because average means the same thing as what word on the board?
Hmm?
Average means the same thing as which word on the board?
Medium?
Mm-mm. Median is the middle number. Which one of these words means average?
Mean?
Mean. Mean and average mean the same thing. So I have to find the mean of these two numbers, meaning the average. So I have to add 30 and 45 up, and then divide them by 2, and what would I get?
You would get
35.
And you only do that when you don't have an established middle number. When you have two numbers that could be considered the middle number, you have to add them and divide them by 2. Let's try one, Chantel. Let's say we have 20, 25, 30, and 50.
You have to add the 25 and 30 and that would be 55.
Okay.
You have to divide that by 2, right?
Yep. And what would you get?
And that would be 27.5 and
On to the nearest whole number?
28.
28. Good job. That's my median. Can everybody see that? Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Last one. My mode. All my mode means is the number that appears the most. I don't even have to do math when I'm looking for my mode. What's my mode for that problem?
6.
6 is my mode. Why?
Because it
Most
appears
often.
3 times.
It's the number that appears most often. Mean, median, and mode. Any questions?
So that really was it. You just look for the number that occurs the most?
That's all you do.
Okay.
You guys don't make these problems on the test harder than they are, okay? After we get this foundation strong, we'll go over the kind of word problems that you're going to see on the test, okay?
Well, what if there's only one of every number? Then what do you do?
Sometimes you won't have a mode. If no number appears more often than another number, there is no mode for that problem.
All right.
Okay?